There are films about winning. There are films about glory, about champions rising from the canvas, about crowds roaring and dreams coming true beneath bright lights. The Cut is not one of those films. It arrives wearing the clothes of a boxing story, carrying all the familiar signs: the aging fighter, the final opportunity, the promise that one last victory might rewrite a lifetime of regrets. It invites the audience into territory they think they recognize, only to quietly close the door behind them. This is not a story about a fight. It is a story about obsession. From the very beginning, the film follows a man who has tied his entire identity to a dream that should perhaps have been left behind years ago. His body is no longer young. Time has already delivered its verdict, yet he continues forward, convinced that one final chance will justify every sacrifice that came before it. The tragedy is not that he suffers. The tragedy is that he believes the suffering has meaning. The film's greatest strength lies in how it transforms the process of preparing for a fight into something unsettling and almost nightmarish. Weight-cutting, discipline, sacrifice, and endurance are often romanticized in sports stories. Here, they become something far darker. Every meal skipped, every drop of water denied, every exhausted breath feels less like dedication and more like self-destruction disguised as ambition. The body begins to fail, the mind begins to crack, and the line between determination and madness becomes impossible to see. Orlando Bloom delivers what may be one of the most committed performances of his career. He disappears into the role in a way that surprises anyone expecting the familiar heroic presence often associated with him. There is very little glamour here. The performance is uncomfortable, vulnerable, and at times genuinely painful to watch. His character spends much of the film losing pieces of himself, not metaphorically, physically, emotionally, spiritually. The audience watches as a man strips away everything he has in pursuit of an ideal that grows more distant with every step. The film understands something that many sports dramas avoid. The human body has limits. The human mind has limits. Dreams have limits. Modern culture often celebrates the refusal to quit. We admire those who push harder, endure longer, and sacrifice more than everyone around them. We tell stories about persistence, as though persistence alone is a virtue. The Cut asks a different question. What happens when quitting is the wiser choice? What happens when perseverance becomes self-destruction? What happens when the dream survives long after the dreamer should have let it go? Those questions linger throughout the film like a shadow. Visually, the movie embraces discomfort. There is little beauty in the traditional sense. The camera often stays close to the suffering, forcing the audience to witness every moment of exhaustion and deterioration. The atmosphere feels heavy, claustrophobic, and increasingly suffocating. Even moments of silence seem filled with pressure. The result is a film that often feels less like watching a sporting event and more like witnessing a slow collapse. That approach will not work for everyone. Many viewers will enter expecting inspiration. Many will expect redemption. Many will wait for the triumphant moment when all the pain suddenly becomes worthwhile. The Cut has little interest in providing such comfort. Instead, it challenges the audience to sit with uncertainty. It refuses to guarantee that suffering leads to greatness. It refuses to promise that hard work is always rewarded. It refuses to turn pain into something noble simply because it was endured. That honesty is both the film's greatest achievement and its greatest weakness. At times, the relentless darkness becomes repetitive. The narrative circles the same emotional territory, repeatedly emphasizing deterioration again and again. The audience understands the point long before the film stops making it. Certain sequences feel stretched natural length, as though the movie is so committed to its message that it forgets momentum matters too. The pacing occasionally suffers because of this. The story becomes trapped in its own despair. Some scenes feel less like progression and more like repetition. Yet even when the film stumbles, it remains difficult to ignore. There is a sincerity beneath the darkness. It is not cynical for the sake of being cynical. It is examining a real phenomenon, one that exists far beyond boxing. Athletes experience it, artists experience it, actors experience it, writers experience it. Anyone who has ever chased a dream beyond reason may recognize something frighteningly familiar here. The fear of stopping, the fear of moving on, the fear that without the dream there is nothing left. By the time the film reaches its conclusion, the audience is left with questions rather than answers. The final impression is not excitement, it is reflection, not triumph, not celebration. Reflection. Because the true opponent was never standing across the ring. The true opponent was time. The true opponent was obsession. The true opponent was the belief that worth can only be measured through achievement. The Cut is not an easy film to recommend. It is uncomfortable, bleak, and often exhausting. It deliberately rejects many of the pleasures audiences normally seek in sports dramas, yet that rejection is precisely what makes it memorable. It is a film about the price of chasing greatness when greatness has become the only thing that matters. A film about ambition sharpened into a blade. A film about a man who keeps cutting away pieces of himself, believing there will always be enough left when he finally reaches the end. And perhaps the most haunting question the film leaves behind is this: if achieving the dream requires destroying the person who dreamed it, was the dream ever worth pursuing at all?